The Andres Segovia Show.
Hey everyone, it's Andres coming at you with another video, and in this video I am giving you a channel update as to what to expect, and most of all, what's my website all about, because I have a feeling that a lot of you have not checked out my website just yet. So I encourage you, please, by all means, go check out theandresegovia.com, because that is where the podcast lives. The podcast is the meat of the show, and I've said it on other occasions, but those of you that subscribe on YouTube are probably there more for the tech-centric version of the show. The thing is, it all correlates to one another anyway. Like, for example, I have an interview that I did with a colleague of mine where we'll be talking about cryptocurrency, and that one was for the show. I do intend to post up the audio podcast on the YouTube channel, but if I didn't, you'd be missing out on some juicy details as to what is up with cryptocurrency, what's the future of it, and ultimately, for those of us in the industry of real estate construction and such, what does it even mean for us? You know, like what does that benefit us? And that's something that we discussed in that episode coming out later this month. Now, the show again is the audio version, and YouTube complements it nicely. When I can't just talk about something, I need to show something. But there's also tech that I'm reviewing as well. So with the tech reviews that are coming up, I'll be reviewing the Samsung Galaxy Fit. You saw my impressions video. I'm going to be coming at it from a more health-minded perspective. That's why I picked it up in the first place. I do intend to walk through the technology that's available on more consumer-based vehicles instead of luxury-based vehicles, like the 2019 Ford Ranger. So there's so much tech in there that's been crazy. And I might even be doing a review on the truck itself. I used to be a car enthusiast. Man, I still am, but I was so into it that I was doing automotive engineering as my major in college, then I switched over to a business major for reasons. But I still love cars to this day, and it's through that's like, this is an opportunity for me to just, talk about vehicles. And if that's something that might interest you, by all means, let me know in the comment section down below. So, the Galaxy Fit, the technology inside the Lariat version of the 2019 Ford Ranger, and also be sharing my thoughts on the Mazda CX-9, because my vehicle is still the same generation as available today, and the technology is the same that's available, and how Android Auto, CarPlay, and Mazda's own infotainment system, I want to walk through that as well to show you how it's held up over time versus others. And in the case of the Ford Ranger, that one's using Ford Sync, I think is version number 3. That, along with being able to use Android Auto and CarPlay, and you'd actually be surprised that the Android Auto experience, for example, on the Ranger is not the same as the Android Auto experience on, for example, my Mazda. It's the same interface. It's just they go about it in two different ways, and I gotta say, I thought one way was originally the better way, but having experienced the other way, I gotta share my thoughts with you there. So that's a teaser for something that I want to cover. So Android Auto on modern vehicles, one a more analog approach, another one's a more touchscreen approach. Okay, so the one more thing is the Instagram channel. That's the behind the scenes stuff that goes on, and that's something a little more personal as well, so you can get to see how I am on my day-to-day just activities or operations. So if you want to take a peek as to who this broker really is and how he conducts himself and how he is with his family, I post every now and then regarding that. But also I also share more health and fitness tips there, and I'm going to be doing a series for Instagram TV exclusively on Instagram. So I suggest you also check out my Instagram, and links to all my socials and websites will be in the video description down below. Now, the website. So this is my website. Please check it out. I spent a lot of money on this, and I'm really happy with how the design turned out, and I hope you are too. The aesthetic was something that it took a while, and someone just said, throw some red on it. Like, dude, man, that's like that Iron Man moment when Tony Stark just tells Jarvis, put some hot rod red on it. So that's literally what happened in that think tank. So that was really cool, and it paved the way for the rest of the aesthetic design. So on the homepage, you'll find my almost 3 recent episodes. And after that, you'll see where else I have been across the internet. Because before this, I was doing the newsreel for 10 years. I was the editor there at the newsreel. And the newsreel still exists, more of an archive now, but some of the stuff is still relevant. It's still getting hits today. But the newsreel is now mostly just Twitter, because that's really all it is. It's just a bunch of news coming at you really fast. And I chime in every now and then with some 2 cents whenever I'm contributing to the political arena of ideas. But the website itself, the link is here. You can follow it. And to the extension of the newsreel, which is where my YouTube channel was birthed, is the Tech Corner. So the Tech Corner, those videos still exist. You can find them on this channel, and if you haven't subscribed, by all means do. But you can also cycle through the playlist, and I'm separating them because the future videos like this one are the Andre Segovia Show. But everything tech related, it all kind of exists in the same. It was more of an experiment to see where I land, and it's morphed into what is now the Andre Segovia Show. And apart from those projects that I was involved in, I was also invited on other podcasts as well. I did make an appearance on the Crackberry podcast, for example, and there's a link to that with a timestamp as well, so you'll know that I was in it when we had a conversation towards the very end of a stream that the Crackberry team did. And I was invited to be interviewed on technology with another real estate channel called Real Estate Uncensored, with Greg McDaniels and Matt Johnson. So those are links right there you can find on my website to check out where I've been, and anywhere else that I'll make appearances, I'll also be linking to that as well. Scrolling down the webpage, there's a link to the section of My Story, which is the same thing as the link above next to the podcast that says My Story. So you get to see the long journey to make a big old circle, because this actually, the Andre Segovia Show, started back in 2002, humble origins back then when it's just a like a newsletter, an email newsletter, and then becoming something a lot bigger than I ever anticipated, with a lot of other projects that I did. And it's just been a hobby I've been doing for 17 years, literally a hobby, because yeah. So that, and one of the things that I'm proudest the most, that if you missed out on the contest, stay tuned, because I do intend to do another contest, details to be revealed when I develop them. And that is my book series. My book series, this is the 3rd year running where I have a 3rd book coming out, and that's kind of the segue as to why I'm doing a channel update. Because if you haven't checked out my book series called The Many Misadventures of Enoch Bellagio, I'm encouraging you to check it out now, please. It's a romantic comedy. I don't want to say it's more of a coming of age story, because the character, we meet him in his senior year in high school. It's more of someone finding their way in life, and it's you could say it's coming of age, but the thing is, this is someone that thought he was set in his ways, and then weird things start happening to him, and he's never had a girlfriend, so it's like he's always felt like he's been the social outcast, missing out, and then suddenly things start happening where it's like, whoa, what's all this going on? You know, the good and the bad. It's all fun and games until it gets a little more serious. So these are things that he never wanted out of life. He just wanted to like live his own thing, and every time he just minds his own business, someone else's business gets in his way. It's like, dude, I didn't ask for any of this. Why do I got to deal with it? Exactly. And that's what's awakening his senses to understand that maybe there is something bigger out there for him than he originally thought. And it's told through a comedic and romantic lens that I'm sure a lot of people will relate to this character. The character is called Enoch Bellagio. His life experiences and situations are highly inspired by the author of the book. And the first book in the series is called Finding Love But Not Really, where we catch up with him when he's completing high school. And There and Back Again, Not a Hobbit's Tale, picks up 18 months after the events of the first book. And the 3rd book, which is coming out this year, which was meant to come out this summer, but I'm officially announcing a delay, because yes, I've been writing the book, it's just these projects kind of delayed it. I am now pushing it for winter 2019, so just in time for Christmas. And this book, the 3rd book, the working title is called The Search for the Purpose-Driven Life, picks up about, if I'm not mistaken, almost 2 years after the events of There and Back Again. So there is a chronological order to these things. You can't just pick up one book and know where you are. It's kind of like the John Wick series. They just feed into one another. Even though I have large time gaps in between where we pick up with our character, you won't understand what the heck's going on unless you've read the previous books. So these are available on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. You can check it out in the links on my website, www.theandresegovia.com. I have links to both books there, and soon enough, a 3rd link also for the 3rd book. This was supposed to be one book, a fat one, that I ended up breaking up into 3 books by popular demand, quite literally, because I had test writers that were just letting other people know, who was, can I get your hands on your book, your book, when is it coming out? So like, okay, fine. To make it easier on my schedule, I'll just start releasing them in succession like this, and it just turned out a lot better, easier to write as well, because I didn't have that time pressure to to like write a 1,000-page book. When all said and done, it's going to be 1,000 pages. So it was great. It was great fun writing those books, challenging in some cases because it got very personal, but great fun, and I encourage you, please, by all means, pick it up. And I'll be doing a giveaway for my books again. The details will to be announced, but when I do, you will know. So like, share, subscribe, stay to know, and most of all, check out my podcast on many other directories that I'm about to go through in a moment, so you'll have other opportunities to know when that contest is coming up, because I also want to give away some tech, and that will be more towards the latter end of the year, where I will want to wait for the next great things that are coming out in August to see if there's anything there I want to give away as well. Okay, so that's the book series, and FYI, this turned into 6 books total. So the 3rd book is this year, the 4th, 5, and 6, and the subsequent years after that. So just letting you know, you're missing out, because I do intend to talk to some studios about getting this adapted. It could be a mini-series, so we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so where does the show live? If you, of course, if you subscribe to YouTube, every once in a while you see an episode of the podcast appear on YouTube, and they're labeled episode number whatever, because that's how I categorize them or keep track of them on the show itself. So as of right now, I'm on episode 18 as of this recording. And if you want to follow up and get the entire series, of course, on my website. But if you want to have something on your phone through an app, some of you already have pre-installed certain of these services, such as Apple Podcasts, because I'm on Apple Podcasts. Google Play Music, which is the same thing as Google Podcasts, okay? Just you could do more with Google Play Music. Some people don't really like Google Podcasts, but if you do have the app and you use that for your podcast digest, my show is there. Or just find me on Google Play Music. You'll find my show there. I just got picked up finally after 4 months waiting. I got picked up by iHeartRadio. Stitcher picked me up. Spreaker is where the show's hosted. So yes, they carry me. Spotify, they're really awesome. One of the first ones that I was able to jump on board. TuneIn and Castbox. 4 months, and I still have, I don't know why Pandora is not responding at all, so I'm still following up with them, but hopefully if Pandora also gives me the green light, I'll put the button there as well. But as you can see, my show is absolutely everywhere. And if there's a podcast directory that I haven't listed here that's one of your favorites, maybe I could look into also being hosted, or at least distributed there. So by all means, leave in the comment section down below another podcast directory that I should probably try being on, because I might be missing out on another audience there as well. So the Segovia show, it comes out every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I discuss everything from real estate, I talk tech, and I talk daily life. And of course, the show is also spread out among the YouTube and Instagram, just to diversify some content. There is some exclusive throwback episodes that I'm bringing from the archives of what I used to do on the Segovia show. I'm looking forward to bringing them out, and they'll be exclusively hosted on my website. And soon I'll be announcing the return of a passion project that will also be exclusively hosted on my website. So you're not going to get any updates anywhere else. I'll probably make a mention of them on Twitter, on YouTube, maybe some Instagram, but they're only going to live on my website. And that has a lot to do with something musical. So check that out as well, or at least stay tuned for those updates as well. Okay, and that's all I wanted to just run through on this episode, just giving you an update as to what's going on, where the show is going, and what's coming up next. So, as always, like, share, subscribe, stay in the know, and you'll be in the know, and I'll see you on the next episode.